Hello, welcome to my channel. This is part 2 because my video cut out. So I just want to get back to quickly this concept of, so I'm going to briefly go through what I was talking about in the second to this one, but Jesus went across the Red Sea, so he separated that and then rose to an aspect of understanding, and then this is where they found an aspect of truth. I know energies, I know I'm safe, stuff like this. So this is the concept that really I want to get to when we understand Jesus and Moses travelling, and this is kind of like how I can pin Bible scriptures, stuff like this, and about our bodies, because it always retains back to our bodies, but it's an aspect of body politics. So we can always go back to Moses and Jesus, because they were the disciples, and there's 11, Jesus was the 12, right? Maybe there was just 11. I think one of them was bad, wasn't it, and his name was Judah, but I don't know. It's almost like I think that was an extra add-on, because I think Judah was just like a place, and I think they just like discriminated against it, and it's kind of still doing it now, but in a different way, saying it's that, I don't know. So I think there was 11, because this makes the concept of the 11, and it's almost like they all had their own journeys, and they all went on their own stuff. And I think this is kind of like where you can understand the 11 disciples. I don't know about 12 or 13 one, I don't know about that. It's almost like then Jesus became sacrificed, and then there's an extra one that was bad. So it's kind of like the black bit. And it's like Jesus was the bad one, and he got sacrificed for all of it. And it's just like, it doesn't make any sense. So it's kind of like the extra add-on, which I don't agree with. I'm going to be honest. This is why I don't consider it as a truth. And it's a fragmentation of an original concept. And this is why I do, and I'm not being funny or anything when I say it, I'm just being honest. But there is truth to what it's saying. There is an aspect to truth, and you can't take that away from it, which is why people gravitate towards it. This is why people can understand it. Right, so let's get into this. So we got Jesus, who's like probably the yellow, rose, an aspect of resurrection, but he got punished for it, right? But in the Bible, it didn't say he got punished for it. They moved the Red Sea and everything. So you see, like I said in the last one, that you can talk about, I can bring it back now quickly, and then I'll carry on. But we got this one where it's red and blue. Well, I don't know if you guys know, but there is actually a Red Sea, and have you seen the separation as well between the seas? There's a line. It's like this. It literally is like this. There's a line. There's a separation though. Goes straight down the middle. And there's a bit that's light and there's a bit that's dark, and they say, oh yeah, it never separates because one's got more salt in it. It's like, it doesn't even make any sense. How does this make any sense? It defies aspects of gravity. It defies aspects of merging. It defies aspects of like being able to merge with the realities. So you got to think, before so much logic and misinformation was put forth in our society, a truth was a truth. You look at it and go, oh yeah, that's right, that's true. You can see it. This is how we can underpin aspects of logic. If I can see that with my own eyeballs, unless you're blind, like seriously, then how can you understand and underpin certain things that take place? Because you know it's true. You're just lying, or you're either being told to do by somebody else, or whatever, right? Or, you can't see it because you've been misinformed that much, where you've been conditioned. This is a conditioning aspect to understand these fractions within our society. But it's so obvious when you look at stuff sometimes. And people try to bring it to you and you go, oh, it's conspiracy, and it's like, no, it's not. It's actually criminological research or scientific evidence. And it's being expressed. But it's being ignored because up here, you don't want to know a truth. See, this is where it kind of ends. The Red Sea and the Blue Sea. And Jesus moved out of the way as an aspect of being in the middle to rise. Right? But could be this as well, to an aspect of understanding, because then we can bridge a gap to understanding, gain our wisdom through being in exiles, and then rise into an aspect of crown I know energies, right? So this works both ways. You can be in an aspect in the middle, but it's almost like he didn't sacrifice himself, because that's not a sacrifice. It's not a sacrifice to go in the middle. It's a death energy, yeah, it's a death energy, but everybody has to go through that process. But they picked a side. Whether it was a blue river that was opened, or it was the red river that was opened, and then they let them walk through. And then the ones that was on the chariot, some of them did they? I think the ones that were chasing them, they didn't survive. They fell back down. And it's because this is kind of like where we can understand aspects of truth and justice. This is why I can understand it's within the criminal justice system. This is how it kind of all merges in together, and how we also use religion to underpin a criminal justice system, what is right and wrong. And it's very simple. So when there's things going on within a criminal justice system that's wrong, then you're all just bloody wrong, aren't you? You're down here somewhere. Anyway, that's another time. So, yeah. So let's just use the analogy now of, a shamanism. Right? Because I'm going to bring this in because I notice that a lot of things can merge into one. And so when I state my principles, I'll make them clear. It's not a shamanist perspective. This is a Jewish one, but this one is now going into shamanism because it's talking about the colours. So we have this. So let's get into another concept where the sky is blue. It's blue. It's a primary colour. And then you get yellow, which is a primary colour, right? And then you get some people who are colourblind, they see red in the sky. Well, it's a different story. However, you do, okay? These are for the dudes out there that are colourblind, because you get red in the sky sometimes. People who are colourblind can see red. So, kind of like, it's interesting because the blue can be seen as red for people who are colourblind. Bloody interesting, isn't it? Because it doesn't matter anyway what fraction you're on. This is why I say it doesn't matter. The truth is the truth. So you might see red, an aspect of seeing red, being the red, see red, but you can be on a different side of the spectrum in a different way. This can understand aspects of being colourblind as well. Because you might look at the sky and see red. That's what people do, don't they, when they're colourblind? Okay, and it's really interesting how you can bring that together. And only men can have that sometimes, which is very interesting because it's there. That's the red line, but it's there too. They might not necessarily be there. They might be here. Okay? Hierophants. Seeing red. Do the hierophants see red? Think about it. You might be colourblind, but do you see red in that sky? It might gravitate towards you. The moving the Red Sea might gravitate towards you than the other people who don't know what to talk about because it's for you. Yeah? Right? So, let's get into this. In an aspect of understanding how we can fall, right? We fall, yeah, we all fall because we come down from an aspect of a heaven concept and we all fall. This is our chakra points as well. So if we always fall, we always have a base. What is it? Well, it's the ground. It's Mother Earth. Okay? This is the basis of everything. So when you don't have nothing, you might fall down to that. I have this. And then you see the ground. It's not like I bow down to you, worship you, or anything like that. It's, I have my structure. I have my base. This is my energy. Okay? So we have an energy field within us, but it's outside of us too. This is an aspect of underpinning a boundary. It's a Mother Earth concept. So I'm going to quickly finish this because I don't know how long I've got. This is part 2 already. It's 9 minutes. So this is like a Mother Earth concept. It's Mother Earth. And then you start, in a spiritual connotation, you can say, or like a metaphorical perspective, which we can go back to, which is, I just wanted the ground to open for swallow me type thing, or petals or something like that. Well, you can understand that there is a ground, and that is your boundary. And it's almost like you shouldn't cross them boundaries in spiritual realms. Okay, so that's one. Do not cross them boundaries in spiritual realms, because it's a form of a patriarchal energy and it can be seen as a trap piece, right? So realise and recognise as well that you need to be careful about your spiritual experiences if you do have any, shamanism and stuff like this. So let's get back to the earth and the sky. I'm going to quickly end this out. But you have the sky, which is blue or red. Okay, so if you if you are colourblind, you will see, well, it's not a blindness, it's just a different spectrum. So let's just take that out as well. So it's a different spectrum. So you might see red, and this is because you're a hierophant. You're a hierophant, right? So another thing as well that I want to say is that that's a primary colour. Okay, red, blue, yellow, all primary colours. Okay, so this is really about understanding that a primary colour is up there. Okay, so down here, what makes them colours apart from sand, which is yellow, which is a primary colour again. It's an aspect of protection as well. Yellow, sand, right? It's yellow, I do energy, right? So the sun is yellow, and then you've got the blue, which is I speak, or I am speaking my truth, or whatever. Or then you've got the idea that when it falls. So this is an idea of like just an aspect of understanding a fall from our own perception with our eyes. As a fall, what does blue, because I see blue, and then yellow, what does blue and yellow make? It makes green. Blue and yellow makes green. Is it? It is. Okay. And then what does red and yellow make? Orange, the sand. Sometimes it's like really good sand. You get grade A in Florida, I think. But you get sand, it's an orangey colour, isn't it? It's not off yellow, it's an orange. So we can understand by people's perceptions how we've created an earth concept. And then you get the grass and the sand. And there's so many individual pieces to that. And the grass, there's so many individual pieces to that grass. It's individual. So when we come down, we are individual. We are separate. Okay, we're not all one. This is the reality as well. But we can also use it as an individual concept to understand that these are opinions as well. Like you get different opinions. Okay, and this is like a 4D concept, but I'm trying to bring it to you in a different way. So it's like we can rise to an I know energy, and we can, because this is what Jesus is trying to teach us, because he's trying to teach us to rise to a heart. So he was at yellow, so let's go back to this analogy, where he moved the Red Sea or the Blue Sea, whichever way you want to see, okay, as a literal concept, and then you rise to your positions after you've took that place. And then some of them are taken out because they didn't make it and they stay down. And then some of them do, and they rise to their positions. Okay? So this is where we can sort of digest an understanding of a position that you might play in your role, in your society, or in your who you are as a person. And it kind of brings everything together. Okay? So it's not like everything has to be physical, it doesn't have to be a sexual, or it doesn't have to be a spiritual. It can be an action or something like that. But what happens is that you'll always fall and degrade your state. If you don't understand what you've learned, you will be taken down by the judgment or the mercy. And it's because you might think you're winning at the time, but you're still messing about in splendour and taking aspects of love. But what you didn't realise was that you needed to rise to a different concept, cross that Red Sea. And if you don't win, you will see that you don't win. And it won't be outside, it'll be within you first. And then the outside will follow, type thing, because you made that judgment to make them things happen within a societal construct which dismantles a state, which only takes a couple of years to do it afterwards. I'm being serious. So in the end of all this, what we have to understand is that a grass concept might be a love concept, and there's many different opinions there, or different areas of love where we can grow to an aspect of I do, and then rise, or an aspect of understanding, or wisdom, hierophant. So what I want to get at is when we go back to the analogy of the blue sky, the yellow sun, the white as well. The moon is white, which is interesting. Interesting, isn't it? It could be this, couldn't it? Questionably, but is it this? Who is the moon? Feminine archetypal energy. Anyway, let's get back to this. Let's bring this back together. So we've got the grass concept, many opinions, analogies of how we can express an aspect of love. Good. I do. Sand. It's an aspect of Jesus walking through. And then he crosses the bridge from the Red Sea or the Blue Sea, however you want to see it, and then you rise. But what you're doing is you're picking a side as well in the concept of understanding an aspect of seeing, colourblind, or that's just an analogy. So you might not actually understand this, but I'm trying to bring it to you in a different way. So in a logical way, at some points you can see a truth. So you pick a side type thing, or it might be innate within you already. And it's nothing wrong with that if you're colourblind or anything like that. I don't even know how to say it otherwise. And then you rise for 9-0 energy. You are a hierophant or an aspect of understanding because you crossed that bridge. Right? And Jesus didn't go alone either. Did he? He had his disciples with him. Yeah? Whether demons or not. He had his disciples with him past it. Right, and this is the ideology, this is the concept, because he said about 7 deadly sins, which is in a doctrine, but Jesus didn't say that. It was just about what they proposed in that perspective to bring a criminal justice, because this is how it was all kind of put together, so that we all knew aspects of, like, if you do something like this, you're going to be in trouble. But it's almost like they're telling us that Jesus was that sacrifice, because what's all that about? Putting him on a cross. I don't like it. I think it's a fear doctrine, and I'm sorry if anyone disagrees with me, because he didn't sacrifice himself for your sins. It's an analogy of you. So what are you doing, putting yourself on a firing line for? Because Jesus is an aspect of you. Because Jesus is here. He's the I do. It's not the yes man in a negative connotation as a perversion of a court of justice or a perversion of a court of way of life. It's a different analogy. It's a cleaner one, right? I do act in good ways to find my love. So what was Jesus doing? He was finding love. Why? Because he needed to pass that, to rise, to here, like I just said, cross the sea, rise, pick your side, love. There's a green bar right there. Love. What was he looking for? Maybe it was grassland. Maybe it was vegetation. Maybe it was a space for them to grow together. And then what they've done is they've come search miles in exile to find grassland, vegetation, to grow fruits, okay? So they can eat, right? Harvest, but in a way that's good. What can we harvest from this idea? And then not just sacrifice that plant, but make it nurture and regrow again. Like we don't have to sacrifice something till it's dead in the ground, because that's a degradation. We rebirth that energy again because it's good, because it's fruitful, because it brings us knowledge, understanding aspects, awareness, knowledge, and we can not necessarily harvest, like take it all and there's nothing left, like a manifest like you do with us, because that's a degradation of a state. What you're going to do after that, it's not going to be a fruitful endeavour. Because as an aspect of humanitarian that takes place, we nurture this. It has to go. We have to cross that 7 bar to rise it, or to rise in our own understandings, underpinnings of what it actually means to be that down here. Because we can acquire it here, but there's an aspect here that needs to take place. And you know I'm right. Because women are always right. That analogy. I'm joking. But it's just to bring across the analogy for you to understand and remember what it means. So that like we can sort of bridge a gap of understanding of how we can stay together, how we can build, how we can do these things. Because it's already within our society as it is. So I'm just trying to bring it to you so you understand. You can just go up there, take someone's fruit and then just leave them, degrade them, and then just cut the tree off and then leave them. all you're doing is showing that you haven't mastered an underpinning of life. And what will happen to you is you'll fall straight back down here. You won't be able to go there again. Because that's my tree. Weren't yours. And then if you just stole the fruit and then left it to die, in an aspect of like not understanding a plant, but a human, the human race, nature, the nature of a human race, we need a mother archetypal energy that will always nurture us and cradle us at the bottom. It's always going to be there. So if you think I'm going to bow down to you in a way where I ain't got nothing left, I'm bowing down to you. I ain't bowing down to you. See this ground here? I'm bowing down to that. Because I know you ain't going to help me. But here's me sitting here telling you how to do it so you can help other people. How does that work? Because you discriminate, you abuse, and you don't care. And it's a degradation of a state. It's an inversion. Stay on this one. Because all you do is become a sacrifice in a perverted cause or in an inverted sphere. And you can all sit there and think you're all at the top, like you're like the boss man's, crowns, whatever you are, you think you are, under a court of justice and stuff like that. What you'll realise is you'll die, you'll be gone, because you pull people down. That's reality. And you go, because you always take somebody where you are. You're a teacher, right? You just take somebody where you are. This is another thing. So if you're sitting in judgment, you're going to take people all there. Oh, I lost myself, lost this, lost that. You just put people there. That's where you are. You rise people and put them in crown. So I know. And you can rise to that as an aspect of like what Jesus did as an analogy, or you can just be an absolute. And it's up to you, isn't it? But you'll never gain those because you stole it. It's an overarching archonic energy that never rises because they fail to understand it. And the reason why you can take that overarching fact over anybody else, because you just sit down in here. Because you think you know that, but you don't. And you've gained power through like corruptive means or, an aspect of this. They'll never let you rise any higher than that. So no. Because that's not what it's built for, is it? That's not what a systematic process is. So what they do is put Jesus on a cross and make you fear to rise any higher than that. Because that's what Moses said about rising. That Red Sea, it scares you. Because the chariots broke in the rise. Some people didn't make it. It's a fear. Fear, fear, fear. When the reality is that there's other people that can come in and do that to us. Because they're not there. They want to take you where they are. So this is where you can end up being, because all those other people are, and they're trying to push you into that space. Like small splendors. I'm gonna help these people. I'm gonna allow them to do this to me. I'm gonna just let them do this to me because they're pushing me into that space because I can't do anything else. So I'm gonna be pushed into these zones because they don't want me to do anything else. They don't want me to be there. They want to push me down, shut me up, and tell me that I'm not good enough to be anything in this world. When the reality is that you bloody are. It's just that they're down here as well, and they're just in positions of a societal construct which got nothing to do with this. It's not. So this is my tree. It's got nothing to do with you. What this is. It's like this is my tree. This is that's their tree. That's their tree. That's their tree. But you're trying to, as a societal construct with positions of power, and yours is broke because you broke your societal constructs. And then you're trying to bring people into them zones because you're trying to take their stuff. Take. Okay? Because I'm not against religion or anything like that. I think it's a puzzle and you can bring it all together. So this is how I'm doing it. So, think twice before you go around wrecking people's trees. And if you understand that when you leave people, you think, yeah, it's so funny. Like, we left her in this situation, in this space, because we are kings and queens. And you gotta look at yourself and you think to yourself, where did you leave them? And then you look at yourself and go, that's a mirage. because that's where you're at. Right. My name is Gemma Haley. I'm a criminologist. This is part 2. If you want to see the other one, go back. Take care. To all the good ones out there, this is for you. Peace. Mother of 2.